Good evening, YouTube world. Ed Kirkpatrick here. Thanks for stopping by. Going to do another This Old Gun segment. Yep, we'll talk about a pretty historical gun in American arms today. The old Winchester 1894, or better known as the Model 94 Winchester. This particular version right here is from 1966. It is what they call a Winchester Classic. It's got the Opticon barrel and a long barrel, and of course it's got longer tubes to hold more rounds. This gun was invented in 1894 by John Browning. John Browning has brought us a lot of firearms over the years. Browning machine gun, Browning high power pistol, the 1911 pistol. Anyway, there were several lever actions at the time that came out. And the thing about lever actions were it was the first true repeating rifle. Okay. Before that, you had to open a breech, put a shell in, close it, shoot it, open a breech, unload it, reload it. Okay. This right here, you boom, 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 boom. You just keep banding them till you're out. So that was a significant impact. This gun is also kind of credited with the gun that won the West. Every cowboy wanted one. The gun really took off actually a year later after it came out. The first calibers that came in this gun were 3240 and 3855. And that nomenclature, just a quick little lesson here. 3240 meant a 32 caliber bullet on top of 40 grains of black powder. And a 3855 was a 38 caliber bullet on top of 55 grains of black powder. And then, of course, you know, another round of 4570, here's one, was a 45 caliber bullet with 70 grains of black powder. And as you can see, these bullets are cartridge, I should say. The cartridge is pretty much straight, you know, no curving body. Now the 3240 and the 3855 has small taper on the end, but still basically a straight cartridge. This one actually tapers the hair itself. Well, the year after that, 1895, smokeless powder came out, and caliber was invented, the 3030. Now the 3030, as you see, if I can kind of hold my hand here, is bottlenecked. Maybe you can see it a little better right there. Anyway, you had smokeless powder, so your gun didn't get fouled up, and you had this bottleneck with the 30 caliber round on it. And what the bottleneck did was increase pressure. And increased pressure increased the velocity. And increasing the velocity increased the distance. So where your other rounds that first came out were, you know, good for 100 yards, 75 yards, this is good out about 200 yards. And caught on real quick. So the 3030 is what most people know the Winchester 94 is all about. There's a few things about the Winchester 94 though that made it get eclipsed. One of them was it ejected out the top. So when I cock this back, the spent round would eject out the top. The new round would float up from the bottom, a little ramp right there. It closed, shoot it into position, and start all over again. But ejecting out of the top prevented, and at that time you had scopes coming out, prevented a scope from being mounted here. Now you could mount a scope forward, but scopes didn't have the parallax and adjustments like they do today. And you just really couldn't put a scope on this and be efficient at all with it. It's just the way it was. Another thing, the gun's got a lot of moving parts. If you ever disassemble one, there's a lot of little pins, screws, pieces to it that make it all work. And another little issue, because it had a tubular magazine, the cartridge, the bullet had to be flat. See how that's flat? Because the cartridges were just stacked up in here, and if the cartridge was pointed like that one is, what could happen was under recoil, these cartridges are in the tube, and under recoil this one could hit the primer or the one ahead of it and just set off a chain reaction. So the cartridges, the bullet had to be flat to prevent that from happening. Now those that know a pointed projectile travels truer and is more accurate. So the gun's accuracy was not minimalized by that, but it had limitations. It certainly did. So what happened was, well, the military, you know how they are. They gonna get their fingers in everything. So they got a few of these and gonna try them out and use them. Use them in some of the Indian wars, Spanish-American wars. What they found out real quick, like, that, yeah, the gun operated no problem, mud, snow, it didn't matter. As long as you jack this thing, you could throw another round in there and shoot it. But what happened was, in the heat of battle, this thing's rather hard to reload. You picture yourself in a ditch or behind a stump shooting at an Indian, and you run out and you got to pick in your pocket, get one of these, stick it in there, get another one, stick it in there, get another one, stick it in there, get another one, stick it in there, get another one. It's a long process. So the bolt action rifle came along, and when that happened, the military faded away from the 94. And the reason was the bolt action rifle, whether it be Lee Enfield or Craig Jorgensen, most of them had magazines, okay, detachable magazines. Some of them didn't, but you could preload these, have them in your pocket. You run out, flip one out, flop that in, boom, boom, you're gone. You could reload that fast. And for those that didn't have the drop out magazines, they had the internal magazines. You loaded it from the top, and this is where that word clip comes in. Everybody gets joked about. This is a clip. See here? You would stick it down in a rifle and push this to pull that up, and you loaded your magazine with the clip, just so you know. Anyhow, this gun right here, 7 million 1894s have been made to date. Over that, really. It's no longer made in the USA anymore. Doggone it. Winchester went out, and Winchester Repeating Arms bought them. They went out. You can still buy a Winchester 94. It's made in Japan now by, I think it's Murano Gunworks, which does some excellent work. It will rival this. It very will, but it will cost you a ton of money. A ton of money. But this old gun here killed more deer than any other rifle to date. Because basically, during the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s, this is all anybody had. Was a 30-30. And it was a model 94. Or it could have been a Marlin 336. And I'll show you one of them in a later video. But Marlin, they decided to eject the spent round from the side. Now you can put a scope on it. Made it very popular. But there were so many of these things around. Marlin never did outsell them. These were always the old true go-to, deer rifle. And my first deer I killed with, harvested with this gun right here. Yep. Yep, it's 1966 Winchester Model 94. Anyhow, just thought I'd bring y'all a little history and gun lore and gun talk. For those that like it, for those that don't, that's all right. We do other things around here too. Thanks for stopping by this old gun, said Kirkpatrick. Adios.